There is a moment, you have felt it, where your body knows something your brain has not caught up to yet. A handshake that felt wrong. A street you should not have turned down. A deal that looked perfect on paper but made your stomach drop anyway. You walked away, or maybe you did not. And later, much later, you understood exactly what that quiet warning was trying to tell you. That is your gut. And it is smarter than you think. We have been taught, conditioned, really, to distrust it. The modern world handed us spreadsheets and probability models and peer-reviewed data, and told us that feelings are liabilities. That instinct is just anxiety wearing a costume. That the only valid decisions are the ones you can defend in a PowerPoint presentation. And so millions of people sit in careers they hate, relationships that drain them, and lives that feel vaguely wrong because they overrode the signal. They chose logic over the thing inside them that knew. This is the science of that thing. Your gut is not mystical. It is not magic. It is not some spiritual energy field floating around your solar plexus waiting to dispense wisdom. It is a biological system, ancient, precise, and shockingly intelligent that has been processing information since long before language existed. Long before you could write anything down, your ancestors were surviving based entirely on rapid, pre-conscious assessments of danger and safety. The ones who listened are the reason you exist. The ones who did not, well, the enteric nervous system. That is the clinical name for what most people call the gut. It is a network of roughly 500 million neurons lining your gastrointestinal tract. Let that number sit for a second. 500 million neurons, your spinal cord has about 100 million. Your gut has 5 times that. Scientists now call it the second brain, and the name is not poetic, it is anatomically earned. This system communicates with your brain through the vagus nerve, sending signals upward at a rate that is, genuinely, faster than conscious thought. Your gut is not waiting for your brain to make a decision. It is already several steps ahead. And here is what modern neuroscience is slowly admitting. Those signals carry real information. Pattern recognition that your conscious mind cannot access. Emotional memory stored in body tissue. Decades of compressed experience encoded into a physical reaction that arrives as a feeling, not a thought. When you walk into a room and something feels off, your brain has already processed hundreds of micro-expressions, tonal inconsistencies, environmental cues, and behavioral anomalies. It just has not bothered to explain any of them to your conscious self yet. The feeling comes first. The reasoning, if it comes at all, comes second. Dr. Antonio Damasio, a neuroscientist at the University of Southern California, spent years studying patients with damage to the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making. These patients were, by every measurable standard, intelligent. They could analyze situations. They understood risk. They could articulate consequences. But their injury had severed the connection between rational thought and emotional signal. And the result was not cleaner, more logical decision-making. It was paralysis, or catastrophically bad choices. Without the emotional input, without the gut signal, they could not function. Damasio called it the somatic marker hypothesis. The body flags decisions with physical sensations before the mind can weigh in. Remove the body from the equation and the mind collapses. Read that again slowly. Without the gut feeling, rational thought alone breaks down. The modern world told you the gut was the enemy of good thinking. Damasio spent a career proving the opposite. But here is where it gets complicated. Because the gut is not always right. Intuition is not infallible wisdom, it is pattern recognition. And patterns can be wrong. Patterns can be biased. Patterns can be built from a lifetime of fear, trauma, prejudice, or simply limited experience. The gut that tells a hiring manager not to hire someone who reminds them of a person they once disliked, that is also intuition. The snap judgment that reads danger onto someone who is simply different, that is also the gut. Intuition does not discriminate between wisdom and bias. It just recognizes patterns and sends a signal. This is the distinction that most conversations about gut feeling refuse to make. People talk about intuition like it is either entirely trustworthy or entirely useless. Both are wrong. The truth is more demanding. Your gut is only as good as the data it was trained on, and most of us have never audited that data. Gary Klein, a cognitive psychologist who spent decades studying how experts make decisions under pressure. Firefighters, military commanders, emergency room doctors found something remarkable. Experts do not make better decisions by analyzing more. They make better decisions by recognizing more. A master firefighter entering a burning building does not run through a checklist. The building tells them something. The color of the smoke, the way the heat is distributed, a sound that is slightly off. The gut synthesizes thousands of hours of experience into a single moment of knowing. That is intuition working correctly. That is pattern recognition earned through depth of experience. But here is the critical variable Klein kept finding. The environment has to be right. High-validity environments, situations where the feedback loop is clear and consistent, produce reliable intuition. Low-validity environments, chaos, noise, situations where outcomes are random or delayed, produce unreliable intuition. A chess grandmaster trusts their gut because chess has rules. The same intuition applied to the stock market, where randomness and chaos rule the short term, is far less trustworthy. The gut does not know the difference between a genuine pattern and a false one unless experience has repeatedly confirmed it. So the question is not whether to trust your gut. The question is whether your gut has been trained by genuine experience or by noise. This is why the most intuitive people in any field tend to be the most experienced, not the smartest, not the most educated, the most experienced. A doctor who has seen 1,000 patients develops a clinical intuition that no textbook produces. A coach who has worked with athletes for 30 years reads a body in motion in ways no biomechanics algorithm can replicate. Experience is the training data for the second brain. Without it, intuition is just a guess, dressed in certainty. And most people mistake confidence for experience. They confuse the feeling of knowing with having actually earned that knowing. The gut can produce an absolutely certain signal built on nothing. Beginners feel gut feelings too. That sensation in your chest is not automatically wisdom. Sometimes it is just anxiety. Sometimes it is just familiarity. Sometimes it is just your past, running its old programs. Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? You wake up, go to work or school, come home, watch some TV, go to sleep, and then do it all over again. It feels like you're stuck in a loop, a cycle that's hard to break. Well, what if I told you there's a simple, scientifically proven way to break that cycle, boost your happiness, and even make you smarter? It sounds too good to be true, right? But it's not. The secret is learning new things. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Learning, isn't that what I spent years doing in school? I'm done with that. But I'm not talking about cramming for exams or memorizing boring facts. I'm talking about the joy of discovery, the thrill of mastering a new skill, the excitement of seeing the world through a new lens. Learning isn't a chore, it's an adventure. And today, we're going to explore why dedicating just a little bit of time each day to learning something new can completely transform your life. Let's start with the brain science, because this is fascinating. Your brain is not a static object, it's more like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you learn something new, whether it's a new word in a foreign language, a chord on the guitar, or a fact about ancient history, you are physically changing your brain. You're creating new neural pathways and strengthening existing ones. This process is called neuroplasticity. Think of it like building a new road in a city. The more roads you have, the more efficiently traffic can flow. Similarly, the more neural pathways you have, the faster and more efficiently your brain can process information. This means that learning new things can actually make you a quicker thinker and a better problem solver in all areas of your life. But it gets even better. Learning also boosts the production of dopamine, often called the feel-good neurotransmitter. Dopamine is associated with reward and motivation. When you successfully learn something new, your brain releases a little hit of dopamine, which makes you feel good and motivates you to keep learning. It's the brain's own built-in reward system for curiosity. This is why it can feel so satisfying to finally understand a complex concept or master a difficult task. You're not just imagining it. There's a real chemical reaction happening in your brain that's rewarding you for your effort. This creates a positive feedback loop. You learn, you feel good, so you want to learn more. It's a powerful cycle that can pull you out of any rut. So, learning makes you smarter and happier. What else? Well, it's also a powerful antidote to boredom and monotony. When every day feels the same, it's easy to feel uninspired and disengaged. Introducing a new learning project into your routine injects novelty and challenge into your life. It gives you something to look forward to, something to work towards. Imagine waking up excited to practice that new song on the piano, or spending your lunch break diving into a book about astrophysics. Suddenly, your days are filled with purpose and a sense of progress. This is incredibly important for our mental well-being. A study from the University of California found that people who regularly engage in mentally stimulating activities have a lower risk of cognitive decline as they age. Learning is literally an investment in your future brain health. Furthermore, learning new skills builds confidence like nothing else. Think about the first time you tried to ride a bike. It was probably wobbly and scary, and you might have fallen a few times. But you kept practicing, and eventually, you were gliding down the street with ease. Remember that feeling of accomplishment? That's the power of skill acquisition. Every new skill you learn, no matter how small, is a testament to your ability to grow and overcome challenges. It proves to yourself that you are capable and adaptable. This confidence doesn't just stay confined to that one skill. It spills over into other areas of your life. You start to see challenges at work or in your personal life not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities to learn and grow. You become more resilient and more willing to step outside your comfort zone. Let's talk about that comfort zone. It's a cozy place, but nothing ever grows there. Learning, by its very nature, pushes you out of your comfort zone. It requires you to be a beginner again, to be vulnerable, to make mistakes, and to ask for help. And that's a good thing. Being a perpetual beginner keeps you humble and open-minded. It reminds you that there's always more to discover. It also connects you with new people. Joining a class, a book club, or an online forum about your new interest introduces you to a community of like-minded individuals. These social connections are vital for our happiness and well-being. Sharing a passion with others creates strong bonds and a sense of belonging. You're no longer just learning in isolation. You're part of a tribe. So, the benefits are clear. Learning boosts brain power, increases happiness, fights boredom, builds confidence, and fosters connection. The next big question is, how do you start? The thought of adding one more thing to your already busy schedule can feel overwhelming. But here's the secret. Start small. You don't need to enroll in a full-time degree program or dedicate hours every day. The key is consistency, not intensity. Here are some practical, easy ways to incorporate learning into your daily life. First, leverage the power of micro-learning. Have 5 minutes while you're waiting for your coffee to brew. Use a language learning app like Duolingo. 10 minutes on the bus. Listen to a short educational podcast. There are incredible resources available right at your fingertips. Platforms like YouTube, where you're watching this now, are a goldmine of tutorials on literally anything you can imagine, from coding to cooking to calligraphy. Second, try habit stacking. This is a technique where you pair a new habit with an existing one. For example, you could decide that after I brush my teeth in the morning, I will read one page of a nonfiction book. Or while I'm drinking my afternoon tea, I will watch one 5-minute video on a topic I'm curious about. By linking the new learning habit to something you already do automatically, you make it much easier to stick with. Third, redefine what learning means to you. It doesn't have to be academic. Learning can be creative, physical, or practical. Learn to juggle. Try a new recipe every week. Figure out how to fix that leaky faucet yourself by watching a tutorial. Take up gardening. Learn to identify 5 different types of birds in your neighborhood. All of these activities engage your brain, build new skills, and add richness to your life. The goal is to be curious and playful. Follow what genuinely interests you, not what you think you should be learning. The most sustainable learning habit is one that you truly enjoy. Fourth, don't be afraid to be bad at something. This is a huge mental block for many adults. We're so used to being competent that the idea of being a clumsy beginner is embarrassing. But everyone is a beginner at some point. Embrace the learning curve. Laugh at your mistakes.